Hello everybody, welcome back to the Artisan of Glimmith. Last time we struggled trying to get to the end of this puzzle, but we did it. And now we are ready to go on here. It's starting on a 5, and then I don't know if these are going to be other new mechanics or just other regions, but we are going to do this one and see what comes of it. Oh my, okay, so everything is boxy. That's a nice start. I like working with boxy. Neighboring regions must have different areas, but not necessarily different shapes. But if they must have a different area, then the shape must be different by definition. Area numbers and palisades. Okay, well, this 12 is something that immediately is of interest to me, because if it has to be boxy, then this can't be the 12, because this is only 8. Therefore, I think that... Oh, that's only 10. That's 12 with the palisade there. I think that makes the most sense. Equally, this 12 with that palisade. There's a 1 and a 1. That's got to be parallel to that. This can't take a corner because it has to be boxy. Which means that is going to reach all of those. That's a box of its own. If this is going to be boxy, it has to pick up all of those edges. And it can't pick up any more. That means this is either a 1 or something bigger like a 4. Neighboring regions must have different areas. So this could be a 3, a 2, and a 1. Nope. There's going to be some way to do the rest of this. That can't be a 1 because of this. So it has to come down. Therefore, that's going to be a line. This can't be a 1 because of this. Therefore, that's going to come across, and that has to be a cap. So that's a 2. That's going to come down. It can't be a 2. That could be a 1. That could be a 2. No, it can't be a 2. It can't be a 2. Oh, it could be that. Except that can't be... What is going on here? This should be like a little own self-contained puzzle now. That can't be a 1. Must be a 2. That must come down. That can't be a 1. Therefore, must go across. This makes it a box. That can be a 3, a 2, a 4, and a 1. There it is. Cool. This can't be a 1. That can't be the 3 with the 1 left in it, so that's the 3. This 4 can't go that way. Therefore, it must go that way. This has to have open on 3 sides. But it has to make a box, and so we can't do that. Therefore, I think this has to make this box. Therefore, that's that box. That can't be the 4. That can't be a 4, so that's the 4. That's the 3, a 1, and a 2 down there. That's going to be parallel to that. We can't do this. We could do that, and it could be a 2x2. Or a 2x1, rather. This 8 needs more space than this. So I think it has to join this and become that. That makes that a 1, because that has to be parallel. That makes that must be at least this, which is going to be at least that. Can't do this. That can't be a 1, so this can't be a 2. So that's the 2. This... How do we make sure either... Oh, this can't do this, because this 8 would touch this 8. So that can be a 2. Then that can't be part of a 2. It could be a 1, and then that could be a 3. So that would be valid. This could be a 2. This could be a 4. This can't be a 1. So it must do that. And it has to be a box. And it can't be a 4. Could be a 2. This 8 is either this, except it can't touch that 8. So it's... Oh. It's that. Put a box around it. Therefore, this can't be a 1 and a 2. So that has to be a 3. Then... That has to be the 4, because if this was a 4, that leaves a 1 alone. If this was a 4, that would touch that 4, so... Wait. How do I use this tile? Hold on. It's all come crumbling down. This is a 4. That can't be a 1. What? Where did I go wrong? Was my assumption about this guy correct? That gets those. Because it has no edges. Has to pick up all the sides. That's a 1 on its own. This can't be an 8 next to that 8. Therefore, that has to be that 8. This is a 4 and this is a 4. That's a 2 and that's a 3. There it is, okay. Complete the final puzzle in the forest area. I feel like those two could have swapped places, honestly. Although I guess you don't want to gate more progress behind a really hard puzzle. So, a couple of 1s is a welcome relief. Inequity. The tip points towards the smaller region. Area numbers. So this region is smaller than 6, but bigger than 4. So that's 5, that's 4, and that's 6. Watchtower counts how many regions are touching the clue. Goodness. And Shape Bank and Bricky. There can't be a point where 4 borders meet. Goodness gracious, they really amped up the possibilities here, didn't they? Just when I thought it couldn't get wilder, they did it. So we've got 1 of 15, 1 of 29 there. Up here, 1 of 16, 1 of 26. And over here, 1 of 15, 1 of 26. And then there's this region, that region, and it keeps going. You can see the shadows of even more at the back there. Which one of these three do I fear the least? I think the Watchtowers. Alright, we'll start with Watchtowers and see how we go. So this 2 gets 1. That's its second. This 3 needs a third. This 2 has 1, needs a second, but it could be this or that. This needs 2. This needs 3, so that has to get this. This needs to have 1 fewer, so we can do that. You've got 1, 2, 3. You've got 1, 2, 3. Gosh, I'm just waiting for the logic to instill itself in my brain here. That gets 1 region against the 1. This 2 gets 2 different regions. This 2 currently has 2 different regions, so it can't gain more. And we've broken it. Okay. This 2 sees 2 different regions. This 2 sees 2 different regions. This 2 sees 2 different regions. This 2 now sees 3 different regions, which is too many. Oh, God. Goodness me. Right, you see 1 region. But that doesn't mean that this is a block, because the region can go bigger. But you see 3 regions. So this must be true. You see 2 regions. This is 1, that's a second. You see 2 regions. You're already seeing 3. So that would make that true. You need a second one, you need a second one. You're seeing... You need a second one. What? Oh, it's going to take a minute for my brain to pass the yes-nos on what's going on here. Right, you see 1. You see 3. And that is... Oh, God. You see 3, which is going to be this. And that. So those are different colours. You see 2. You already have 2 that exist on you. This needs a second one, so that has to exist. Why can't my brain pass this? P-A-R-S-E, pass, not P-A-S-S, pass. You see 1. You get that 1 and 2 more. How do you see 2 when you need 3 and you need 2 different? That? Okay. You need a second. You need a second. You now got it. You've now got 3, which is too many. Oh, God, my brain can't. Like, I can see the first few steps being... This has to see those. Now this can get bigger, but not in a way that makes those be that. So... You've now got 2, you've got 2, you've got 1, you've got 3. You need 2. You've got 2. You've got 3. This gives you 2. That gets you 2. God. My brain doesn't like that at all. You were just a bonus one? Okay, this corner can see one colour. That corner can see one colour. That corner can see one colour. That's the second colour for this. You can see 2 already. You need a second colour. You can see one colour. You can see one colour. That I can do. That's fine. This can see 2 colours. You can already see 2 colours, so I can't add more colours. But you can see 2 colours. So we do that. Because now you can still see 2. You see 2, you see 2. You see 1, so that comes across. You need a second, so you get that one. You need a second, so that's different. You get 1 and you get 1. You need a second. You need a second. That's not so bad. Either my brain's slowly getting it, or that one puzzle was really just not gelling with me. That gets 3. How do these all get 2 without this getting 3? My brain wants there to be some weirdness of like... Yeah. Like this was so constrained. It was going to have to be something that went around the edge. And then just not having to make it symmetrical meant we could stick those 2 in there. Right, you see 4 different colours. That's nice. You see 1 colour. That's also nice. So that's all set. You see 2 colours. One of them is locked, therefore that goes all the way around there. You can now already see 3 colours. So we do that. You get a second, you get a third. And now things have opened up to us a little. One here. 4 there. 2 here. Is it just straight lines across the left and right? Oh, wait. All regions must be this shape. Alright, that basically amounts to about the same thing. You're hiding under there, because I can see your stream of light. There's another one down there, but give me them 1s and 2s for now, please. All regions must be this shape. If you start with 4 different colours, then that's going to do that. That has to come out to at least here. And that has to do that, which means that comes up to at least there. That means this 3 needs to get 2 other colours, which means that does that. That goes up to there. This 2 already has 1 colour, but that needs its 3rd piece. That needs its 3rd piece. That needs its 3rd piece. Now, this shape is going to be either mirrored or similar up here because it's another 3 by 6, and this is the only way to fill that symmetrically, I think. We just have to figure out how to get, I think, 3 points on here, which is going to be not that. How do we do 3? This. No? Right, those two have to be there because you only get a second. That means that's going to go up, or that's going to go up. That can't happen because then we end up with that shape. So it's got to be that, and that, and that, and that, and that, and that. All regions must be one of these shapes. So that must be that. But it could be that. Except that leaves that unable to make that shape. So I think that has to go there. And then there's going to be some version of this to carry it on. This needs 3 different ones, which is going to have to be that, that, and this. That's going to pick up all of that. That's going to be that there. This is all one color, which means we have to build that out. Can we build it out in a different direction? Not there, we can't, because that 4 needs 4 different. I think that's the only way to do it. Can't do it that way, we can't do it that way. We can't do it that way. So, I think that has to be true. But if that's true, then that there, that there, that there, okay. You got there. I almost like when they're giving me like a second mechanic to work with, because it adds kind of limitations that my brain has experience with. All regions must be this shape. Well, these are going to have 4, so that's going to have 3. That's not that, because that makes a 3rd. It's not that, because that makes that shape not workable. Okay. Oh, that's a lot to get through, isn't it? Right, that line, that line, that line, and that line are true. That line is true, that line is true, that line is true. Right, let's look at this 3. We can't have 4 on the edges of this 3, so I think something is going to have to do a big wraparound, and it can't be that one. You've all got 4, so that's true, that's true, that's true, that's true, that's true. That's true. Which means that has to get those. That has to be a different one. That gets that. That goes up to there. Okay, it's not this, apparently. What did I have wrong about this? Alright, I'm close, but I'm missing something working through this. That 2 must get those. You could also get this. That 2 gets those. if this color changes now, how do I get this 3 to have 3 and not 4? That's what I'm really stuck on that. This 3. This 4 has 4 different. That 4 has 4 different. 4 different, 4 different, 4 different. So these lines must all be true. The ones that radiate from the 4 pips. This 2 already has 1 color, therefore that gets its 2nd color. How do I get this to only have 3 and not 4? It can't be this color. That is not something I can work with. This 2 has 1, so it's going to get that. That has to be a line. It doesn't have... That could do that, but I don't think it does. I feel like this has to wrap around to here, but it breaks stuff when it does. This 3 needs 2 more, so it gets this and this. This 2 has that 1, therefore those all get joined together. This 3 still has 4, but this can't join to that because of the red line rule. What about that, or similar? Still breaks this 3 is what I really don't understand. Right. How? It's just this 3 that is my biggest problem. That's it. That's how we do that, I think. You need to. You get that one? Thank goodness. Oh, real brain workout today. How on earth do I break into this puzzle? Because we can't do this now. Can't do that. Can't do that. Oh, no. Not everything has to be in the tiles of 2. If I do... Hold on. What I'm thinking about is making it so that there's a path between all of that and then just doing Q. Close, but not quite. That's worse. It's this guy here that I don't really see how to appease. It's only a difficulty 2. Oh. I was like, we got to figure out what we can do with this last piece of space. You can just color it in. It can just be there on its own. That's fine. 1. That gets to 2. That gets to 2. That gets those to 3. That already has 1, so that gets to 2. That gets those. That gets to 2. That has 1. That gets a second. This has 2. This gets to 3. That has 2. This gets that. This needs a second. That's not so bad. Restore the Watchtower window. Okay. Goose has come in for a wander. Looking out the window. 1, 2, 3. 1. Hold on. 1, 2. How am I doing this? Oh, he's on the chair. We're going to try and do this when my left arm is otherwise engaged with puppy scritches. That gets 1. Sold. This needs a second, which must be this. This already has 2. So it can't gain a new one. Puppy has gone. But this needs 3. How am I doing 3 different there? And... okay, that does it. Yeah. Yeah, that does it. You have to be a different color to the other side of your watchtower. You have 2. You already have 2, so that's got to join that color. Okay. You have mist on the stairs here? No. What? How many do we need for silver? Another 9. We might be able to get to that today. 4, 4, 3, 3, 3, 4. Area numbers and watchtowers. That's scary because it's going to be a long way out. So this 10 can't do that because the 3 needs 2 different regions. So that starts there at the least. This 8 can't do that because it needs different regions. So that starts there at the least. Which means that has to come out to here. If this is going to have 3 regions, it can't do that, and it can't do that, so it must be going up that way. And these are different. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Nope. 8. Put a box around it. 1, 2, 3, 4. You get a third. Then for you to get a third, we can't do that. We can't do that. So we're going to pick up here. Then you get those. 6, 7. We're going to do a real funky walk here, aren't we? Can't do that. Must do this. Can't do that. Six, 7, 8, 9, 10. That wasn't too bad. Mingle shape. Neighboring regions must have different shapes. I think that's got to be this. Right, this can't be a 1 because it's next to a 1. Can't be a 2 because it's next to a 2, but it can't do that, so it has to be this. This needs a different colour. You've got 3. You've got 1. You need 2 different. You've now got 3. So one of these can be a domino. Neighbouring regions must have different shapes, but they don't have to be unique shapes. There's got to be some, possibly some recurring pattern through here, but I'm not certain. I am not certain indeed. This line must exist. This has to exist or this has to exist, but I'm not sure which. You have 1, 2. That must be a line. You need a third. These two can't be two singles. Oh, God. I get a weird feeling something like that was going to happen, but no, that cannot happen. So we can't do that. So it's going to be lots of 3s and 2s and 1s in straight lines, I think. Is my estimation of the situation. Exactly how that goes, I am uncertain. Can't have 2 1s next to each other. I cannot pass this at all in my head. I just cannot see any of those lines. You were hiding there, cutie. Area number, Watchtower. So we've got these 6 3s make up our 3. So this 2, I think, has to have that and that as its 2, which gets that there. So from that, we have, well, we have borders around all of that. These have to be different. That has to go all the way around there for this 2. So this 4 has to either get picked up there or there. That means this 4 is definitely touching those. Okay. Yes. That could be a 4 there, or there. So we don't have disambiguation on that yet. But if this is a line, then that has to be that. But this has 3, not 4. So now it all comes tumbling down. What I thought was correct. Oh, God, hold on. I turned around to see what Goose was chewing, and it was one of my shoes. Right. This guy gets 2. You've already got 1. Then that must be true. Because you get 3, so put a box around that. That means that must be true. Put a box around that. Okay. That must be true. That must be true. Okay. That wasn't so bad. We look at you already? Yes, I can't understand you. Oh, I don't want to look at that either. Getting to the limits of what my brain feels like it's capable of doing with these things. There's a 5 up there. Now, this doesn't feel like it should be so bad because of the shape bank. But I've been wrong before. If this is a 3, then it either has to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, which can't be because this has to have at least that, which means it's going to be either this, or this, or this, and then that, and that, maybe. This is 4 long. One, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And a 3 by 2. Because if this was a 3 by 2, that would go 1, 2, 3, 4, and it can't because of the 3. This needs 3. Ah, well, I should have done that first. Alright, my logic has fallen apart. I thought I was on good logic, and perhaps I was not. So, start me out with this and this that we do know for sure. This has got to be either that or that, but I can't know which yet. This for 3. I think that has to be one of them. Because if this was the 2 side of the 3, that can't exist. If that's the 2 side, that can exist, but we don't get to 3, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then this is a 3 by 2 in one of these orientations. If this is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, doesn't go. So that's as far as we were kind of pretty confident of a minute ago. Now this needs 2 more, which could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Or that could be this, or some version thereof. But those have to be different. Each of these is just getting 2. So let's look at this 3, because that's going to have more limits. If this goes here, that would be viable. But then this can't come along to here or down there without blocking stuff in. It doesn't feel like a great logical progression rather than being closer towards the guessing side of the whole thing. Where else can we go now? This looks really pleasing, but it could easily be this or similar up there. This could even do that as viable. Oh, I totally forgot that this section here needs to be larger and the 1x1s actually need to be bigger. I was like, yeah, they're set. They're 4, but no, it's 4 long or 2x3. If this comes out, that has to go up. This comes out, that has to go up. But like all of this still seems like it has methods of fitting. I totally concede now I'm just colouring again. And that's a bad way to try and solve puzzles. I just don't see where I go from here. If this is 4, and this is 4, that has to be 4, that has to be 4, that has to be 4. That has to be 4, that has to be 4. And it just makes these really kind of ugly edges. Let's just think about this for a second. These are 10 wide, which means it has to be either 5 2s, or a 4, a 4, and a 2, or a 4, a 4, a 1, and a 1. Does that help me at all? And that has to be true up and down. I don't know if that helps me at all. Because that would mean this couldn't be a 4 and a 3. I mean, it could be a 4, 3, and a 3. That could be valid too. That breaks down on this 3. Because that can't be a solo 1. It's all just colouring now. I can't do it. It's too hard in this new mechanic I'm not well enough versed with. Let's find one more puzzle that we can solve and then think about that being our day. Right. This has to all be the same region. So we're going to have some kind of giant loop going on. How do I get that past this 3? Like that. Then we can do the same there. You're wrong. I completely missed it. That wasn't bad. Alright, so there's some toughies on this right-hand side. Those are just too big for me to comprehend right now. We need to do 6 more for the window. Ugh, I'm tempted to see if there's ones in here that... Well, if they're not going to be that bad, then maybe we try it. Precision 4. What? That's 1. This needs a 2nd. Okay. Precision 3. That's all fine. Doesn't all have to be hooks. We can have the straight lines in here as well. This can't go to here because it leaves a 2, so that has to go to there. Nice. Oh, we can definitely get this silvered with some of these simpler ones, I think. Oh, hello. Line for you, line for you, line for you, line for you, line for you. Right, that must be that and that and that and that. And that. All regions, so we can only have 2 regions for the whole board. Is certainly something. How are we going to get this over to these while not making a random lick of space that can't exist? That's what is tripping me up immediately. Those must all exist. You can't go that way, you must go that way. You can't go that way, you must go that way. Same, same. Is it going to be something like this? There it is, yeah. 3 more. We can do 3 more. We can do 3 more. Really hiding them now, aren't they? Palisades and watchtowers. So you can't exist that way. Can exist that way. There are more hiding in these windows. I would so expect to see one down here somewhere. Right, you get 2 colors. I thought that was going to work. Lovely. One more to get this window silvered. Oh, jeez. That doesn't look overly intimidating at all. This looks more my speed. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. And must have regions of exactly 4. So, I think that has to do that. That has to do that. 4, 4, 4, 4, 4. Simple one. Silver Age. Turn 20 windows silver. Gosh, I can't even begin to imagine more stuff being added to this game. Alright, that's everything for today. Thank you guys ever so much for watching. Hit that like button, subscribe for more, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.